Hi guys, welcome back. Oh my god, my hair. Excuse the VR here. Oh god, it looks bad. Um, I had a really intense experience with the demons today. Some people say gods. The weird thing is you can't make everybody happy because some people you call them demons, they're like, yeah, that's what you call them. Some people you call them gods, they're like, yeah, that's what you call them, and they can just get in fights. The beings, there, are you happy? Is this channel? And Mammon kept appearing in a dream this morning. And it was like between Mammon and Asmodeus, Mammon, Asmodeus, Mammon, Asmodeus. I realized I'm not going crazy. I should just trust my intuition. Like sometimes in the middle of a sentence, it will flip over as I'm dealing with them through the day from Mammon to Asmodeus. And they have no problem with it. And they assumed I was on board and could tell because they look different. I'm like, yeah, I just thought I kept working with, oh god, I'm confused now. Who did I promise what? And they're both like just smiling at each other, like, so he appeared in a dream and he's really strong, overpowering energy at times. And then he was appearing as this wolf, okay? And I was on Pinterest and this exact wolf picture came up and it's one I haven't seen before. And I'm like, okay. And I've been listening to a podcast, and I don't reveal stuff to you guys not to keep something secret or have some secret knowledge, but it's always come back to bite me in the ass because people either jump ship to something really. To me, it's like just introducing you, especially if you're new to someone, and then going, "Oh, hey, 5 years later they were working with demons." Well, here we are. But you know what I mean? It's like when I was just running a Lokean channel. There were a lot of Lokeans that went on to work with demons, which I'm starting to form a theory on that one. And, at the time, if you want people to just work with Norse gods or traditionally work with gods, you don't get into that. I did not intend to get into working with demons. Trust me, they showed up in my life and they're like, we're here. You're dealing with us. So we worked on the. I'm still getting giggling back here. We worked on the VR temple, and it looks great. And I'm putting in rooms for Boone and everything else. I hope I'm saying that right. And they just kind of shrug. They're like, "You're in the ballpark." Um, and I put in rooms for all these other ones that I was like, "Oh, three-headed dragon," and I got the exact opposite. I might as well tell you, we're going off into demon stories. I always got a female dragon with two young dragons. It was very specific, and they were using, and I knew they were using because they told me at the time, so I've known this one since I was a child. And look, he's like, how do you do that squeak? I don't really know. My voice breaks like a 12-year-old child's. Anyhow, I've known them since I was a child because I was really into Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, shut up. And we would be reading these choose your own adventures, and there would be these beautiful dragons in there, and there would be black dragons in there, and there was this one that piece of art. It's like back in the 80s or 90s where it was this beautiful black dragon with pearl eyes, like glowing pearl eyes. I'm sure the artwork's out there on the internet somewhere. And this dragon started to appear in my life, and I'm like, I've got to be making this up. But I was also trying to get my hands on witchcraft books at the time, which was interesting. And they're like, oh, no, no, no. I'm a dragon. Dragon. They said, well, I don't really look like this, but you like that picture, so I'll look like this. And sometimes they would look like different dragons, like there are in Dungeons and Dragons. I know, that's a great basis for working with them. And they look red or gold or silver, but they like this black color best, okay? And they would often have two other dragons with them. And I'm reading up about Boone today, and again, I hope I'm saying that right. And it was a thing of they have three heads, and I'm like, well, it was three dragons. And I know they will speak to us in metaphors. And I was looking at them. I said, "Are you so and so?" And they're like, "What do you think?" And they said, "Do you want a dragon tail wag of manifestation of money?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I'm like, "Yeah, sure. This is all in my mind. I need to go get a rubber room somewhere." So lit a candle, did some incense. And the weird thing was, as I looked them up, I had got at Asmodeus's request. I got my Dragon Blood's incense last night, and like I only have so much of that stuff. And I lit it today. Now I'm doing that. I'm listening to a podcast. I got the VR temple done, and then I decided I'm going to use this tarot deck to do my reading. Now, there are two different fields of view on tarot. One is that, as I was taught coming in decades ago, everybody should be able to do everything. I don't agree with it anymore, only because I've watched people try to do stuff repeatedly, and if you can't do it, you can't do it. I can't do ceremonial magic to save my life. If it took ceremonial magic to work with demons, I would have already burned my house down because I would be so damn nervous. I can't do it. But when it comes to the kind of magic I can do it. And apparently, tarot reading, you either got it or you don't. I think it's one of those skills everyone should try to develop just because you'll save yourself a fuck ton of money. And, because some people get really expensive, right? And it's a good way, like this, Ouija board, whatever, pendulum, whatever you use, tea leaves, coffee leaves, you can use absolutely anything. The radio, shufflemancy, anything. It's good to find the one that works for you and works pretty reliably. And I thought, well, I'm going to use this tarot deck I have down here because I have no idea where my main tarot deck went to. It's somewhere. And I'm going to use this tarot deck and I'm going to do a reading because, okay, and Asmodeus and Mammon have both been pushing me. Like, you have a gift. You should get back into this. You have a gift. You could get back into this. I'm like, but anybody can do a tarot reading. It's just like the first thing you're taught to do, right? People did it in high school for fun. But as I'm listening to this podcast, they're like, no, not everybody can do tarot reading. And I'm like, I don't know. So I did my reading and I figured I would share it with you guys because one, this tests my ability, right? And two, this will help me to see later on. I can come back to this video and go, hey, there was the reading. I'd ask just, do the demons have any message for me? Like with everything that's been going on and all the demons I'm working with, does anybody have a message for me? Keep in mind, this is a Norse tarot deck, so. So the first one I got was Rido. I do a 4-card draw, so the first one I got was Rido. And Odin was almost crying with joy because I actually knew the names and didn't have to look them up. Then I got Wunyo, second position. And then I got Othala. And then I got Dagaz. Did I say that right? I hope so. Yeah, that's Dagaz, not... yeah, because that one's right. Sometimes I do mix up the names, and they get that. I had a stroke. My doctor wasn't even concerned, so sometimes I will hold up a rune. I will know the damn rune it is, and I will tell you the wrong name. So if you ever see me do that, it's just how my brain works. But the fourth one is absolutely about just being hit with enlightenment, and it has the old man on it. You can't tell me that is not the old man. You can't tell me that is not Othin sitting in front of the fire. And I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have used this deck. And then I look back over the cards to try to see the meaning, and it's about, basically like you're starting a journey, you're starting, things move in a certain order. And there are like 5 billion interpretations you can put to each room, which is like kind of hard, but if I start thinking of it kind of like a tarot deck, it kind of works a little better for me. And I keep getting Wunyo in a lot of my things, which can be about joy and it can be about like a bunch of other stuff too, but it's about, I'm looking at the thing and it's like you're setting out on this journey and you're getting your family with you, because a lot of times I think in pictures, it's easier for me. And you're going to have this homestead, you're going to have this, but you're also going to have this moment of enlightenment where it will all make sense. So I'm like, okay, I hope that's coming sooner rather than later. And what started this all off is, it is tax season. And my taxes came in today, and I thought I had more time to pay them. And I was like, wow. So I scrambled, and I am really super glad I did not buy that Tomb Raider game, because I'm like, every penny counts at this point. So I scrambled, and I'm like, well, if I pay them off now, And I don't know how they do the taxes in your area, but here, the spring taxes, you have to pay them all in one go. You can wait. I could have like waited a month, but I'm like, if I pay them off now, I will one, get the discount, and two, this precludes me going ahead and forgetting on purpose about taxes and taking that money I need to pay taxes and not lose my house and going and doing something else with it. And I'm like, this will also, be careful what you ask demons for. It's like, I really need to wean myself off buying video games. And they're like, okay. So, yeah, I will not be buying any video games for at least the whole month of March. It's going to be a long month. But, it's okay because I have hundreds of games, and there are hundreds, if not thousands, of free games out there. And you get a game and you enjoy it, but then you're on to the next and the next and the next. So it's just going to be about tightening our belts because, that's one of the things I'm learning, is as Modius pointed out. He said, they do stuff that people say they do, but at the same time, it's like, so do our gods, but working with the demons is exactly like working with our gods because you have to do your part. If I want to get better finances, I have to do my part and not be going to get fast food all the time and going to the gas station just because and going to the store just because. I'm obviously not meant to starve myself or do without, but I don't need fast food. I don't need to go to the gas station and get soda. It's hard, it's hard because I honestly thought starting to deal with them right away, I'd be back to doing what I did, like going to the fast food and going to the gas station, and I had all these plans, like I'd be eating out and everything. Nowhere at all in my plans was saving money and saving every single penny I could so I could pay off my taxes. That was nowhere in my plans, but it's like working with the gods, like working with Loki. You have to do everything you can. You can't make their job any harder. And Mammon especially is like, you have to be willing to put this work in and show me you can handle finances in the first place, because what's the point of manifesting money in your life? What's the point of manifesting good fortune in your life if you're going to blow it all in 5 minutes? If they know you have the discipline that seems to be once stuff starts rolling your way, it's like, okay, you're showing you have the discipline. You're showing you can backslide a little. But by the grace of the gods and the demons, I haven't been out for fast food since October or November of last year, and that's like a fucking long time for me. And I haven't had any pop since bought on my own since January, since New Year's. So it's been really fucking hard achievement for me. I did have one when I went up for that job for my friend. She gave me one can, but thank the gods, even though I can sometimes still feel it calling me, I've been able to pretty much try to cut it out of my life. So, it's good, and I love having them here, but it's nothing like I thought it would be. I think people oversell working with demons sometimes, and they make it sound like, oh yeah, you just draw this sigil and you give them X, Y, and Z, and they'll just give you $1 million. It's not quite how it works. With Mammon especially, he knows sometimes I get a little afraid of him because he has a reputation for completely destroying your life and then rebuilding it. And I'm like, I already had Loki do that, and I had Odin do that. I would be really grateful if you could count the past destruction of my life as credit towards now. And he's like, at least I know if it would happen, I would know how to go through it because I've been through it twice. I'm not saying I wouldn't cry and well and come on here freaking out, but it's like, I hope he's not going to destroy my life in order to rebuild it, but it's like it was one of those things I had to face, that Mammon's clearly going to be here. I really don't get a choice in the matter. Sometimes they see free will and they laugh. And I get, yeah. And, if he is intending to destroy my life and take away absolutely everything and then rebuild it, that's going to be his lookout. There's no amount of begging or yelling or praying to Jesus that I can do that's going to change that. It's like, you just have to be willing to go through the process and go through the lessons. So, I hope that helps. I feel at least a lot more positive because we did a lot of work of making sure Asmodeus has something, because Asmodeus is going to be a huge part of my life, and making sure Mammon has something because Mammon is going to be a huge part of my life. And it's like we're really to a point now where I feel super bad because I'm having to tuck in a demon thing here and a demon thing there, but we're like out of room, And there's no sense like trying to make room for them in a room I don't normally go into and try to make that, because to me that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? It's like you could move stuff around and try to make them something, but if you know you're never going to go in that room intentionally for whatever reason, then you've just wasted it. Like you could, for lack of space, if you have like a room, like say even like a drawer or something, but you never go in there. Some people set up like their altars in drawers because they can't have them out for some reason. Um, it's like if I'm never going to go in there, never going to make the connection with it, it doesn't matter. At least if it's in the kitchen, even if everybody's getting tucked in everywhere, at least I see it. So there's still some room, I suppose, up in the cabinet and stuff. And we're just gonna have to work on stuff and work on, me getting over some hangups I have left. But other than that, I hope that helps. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye bye.